Whoa.
This is a Tuesday podcast. We're just going to talk because I feel like we didn't get to talk a lot and do a lot of podcasting last week.
Truestory.com.
And then sometimes when we do our podcast, we are doing interviews. So it's different than just the Cat and Nat chat.
Let's just bang them out. Bang-a-roni.
I was saying that
bang, bang, bang.
It's kind of crazy because like the end of the year is coming and we did the Mom Truth on how everything is just so much is needed in the last week of school, and like they have exams, but they only have to go for a week. So, I mean, an hour. So you got to go get them and all this stuff. And it's like a hectic time. And we are just taking our little moment to go to LA.
Oh, is that how?
And I'm like, in those days, yes, we're doing podcasting because we have guests and we're so excited for that. And we have a partnership that we're going out there and we can't wait to release all of them to you. We're going to have guests we've never had before and people we've wanted to meet. And the only way we can make it happen is to go out to LA, and some people that we've been really like, it's been a long time coming that we finally get to podcast with them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we're going to work and it's just going to be the two of us. But we're also going to enjoy ourselves because it's the last time that we get to be alone.
Before the last time. It's really the only time we've gotten to be alone in a very
long time. And then before summer craziness starts and I go away for a while. And then, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, sometimes you're like, you look before, I don't know if everybody feels this way, but like, or if it's just people who are like hectic and stuff. Do you ever like look forward to a vacation and say, I'm going to relax. Like, I'm just going to chill. Like, I'm going to do what I want to do
with kids. I've never had that experience. No, I've never had the experience of chilling when kids are around.
I tell myself though, I'm going to take time because, I was watching Meredith, That's Inappropriate. She went to Club Med right after us. And understandably, her kids are older than ours. But when she was doing the roundup of her vacation, she was saying, I took time to relax like I needed. And I did see them over at the adult pool. And she's like, I relaxed here.
I think our age of our children is still a problem.
I guess.
I mean, they're still little. Like we've still little. Like her oldest was 18.
Okay.
Our oldest is 15, not interested in watching, like,
right.
Would, but isn't like going to be like, no, dude, no, I'm not watching 6 kids below me or 5 kids below me.
I guess so. Yeah. And she was saying how like, she had such a good time, but also for her kids, it was like the best trip of their life. And it was like carnival fun. Like it was just an outrageous trip, which I feel like my kids were like, I had so much fun.
Obviously they did. It's like a kids, you go for your kids.
Mm-hmm. So many people are like, Club Med, like, would you recommend it? I'm like, like if you have kids, yes, you will go there and you will not be disappointed.
Yeah. Your kids will not be disappointed. No. Your kids will have the time of their lives.
But so I was thinking, she said to herself, I'm going to go and relax. And she found that time. And I know her kids are older, but like when I go, I'm going away to the Cape and I'll be gone for 2.5 weeks with my family.
Yeah.
When we're there, Mark will be off and like, I'll take the kids just like, relax. But it's like hot. That's why I was looking for a blow up thing for the beach. Could I just lay on the beach for a couple of hours?
I don't know your husband to sit still on the beach.
No, but
he's going to leave you on the beach.
Mm-hmm. I should just do that.
Okay.
And I should read a book. I should read that book that we got.
Yeah.
And just breathe.
Sounds terrible.
No, I mean, it would be nice just for a little bit of calm because it's hectic there because there's so many people and there's always a meal to be had and you got to plan for the next meal.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think you put it as a goal.
Mm-hmm, yeah. And we'll see how it goes.
You see how it goes. Okay. I'm not sure how in my experience, going away with children has never been relaxing.
Right.
Never has it been relaxing, especially when you have to cook food.
Yeah.
And if you're in other people's space, the moods of them, the impact of your children in their space is very, you carry the load of your children's moods. So
I would think that if it was a different situation, it was like I had more control and it was my house, I think that like for a week, hiring someone to cook the meals
would be worth it.
Yeah.
Well,
but it's not.
My daughter heard someone say, I was walking and I saw someone, I'm like, it's so weird to see you without your kids in the neighborhood. She has a dog and 4 kids. And she was like, it's so nice to be without the kids. And she's like, I would be so offended if you said that. I said, here's the thing. I said, it's not about not wanting to be with you. It's the fact that I said, in a better place now where your mood isn't my problem, but most kids under the age of 12, their mood is your problem. They make it your problem. Like their mood is like directed at you. It's towards you. It like it sours everything. It makes everyone in a mood. So it's like I said, when you're older, you kind of like retreat when you're in a mood. When I was saying to her, I'm like, when you have a lot of young kids, they're very moody and you're sitting there. So it's not like you're always not enjoyable. I'm sorry. Motherhood is enjoyable, but y'all, when you're young, are not always enjoyable.
It's so funny. Why do they, like, I know it's natural, but it's just so weird that they can't just be
chill.
Just be.
Well, I said their job is to learn and grow their emotions because you can't be 15 and be a toddler and scream, no, you don't want to wear your pants.
Yeah.
So you understand that this is like part of growing and understanding. But I said it's also the minutia of motherhood, like cooking and cleaning
groceries
and maneuvering you all. And I said it's not actually being your mom. It's that's not being a mom. Me cooking, cleaning, and you being shitty moods to me is not a mom. That's not what it's not I want it. But I'm here for it. So I feel like that vacation is...
I accept the job.
I took it.
Yeah.
And I'm not mad about it. But I do feel like the vacation part is providing them with their memories. Like we do so much for them, very little for us. And I think the people who do things for them, they leave their kids at home.
Yeah.
They go on vacation without kids. And people are so good at that.
Yeah.
I'm so bad at that.
You know, I was just thinking, I know. Because it feels like such a big ask to have someone take care of your kids for an extended
Especially when they have to go
time.
everywhere. Especially when they have to go everywhere. We really, if you're out there and you have kids and they're young, leave.
Yeah.
Run. Go. Because the older they get, you have to find 9 million people to drive them somewhere. So run.
You know, I was thinking.
They can't leave your house. Run.
I should say to my sister and brother-in-law one night, like, we got the kids, go out and have a dinner. You know what I mean? Like, well, I would hope that they would do that back, but it's a beautiful place to go out and have a night off. And like, what's the skin off my back?
Because then
they have a couple kids.
Then they have to do it for
back.
you.
Yeah, it's true. You know, yeah, and then I think to myself, like, you know, you have 10 months of the year to go out on a date with your partner. Like, does it have to be the time when you're spending your time with the family that you don't see that much? But it's a lot of time.
What are you looking for, Linda? What are you looking for? I feel like
I'd love to come back and just like, I always am like, I'd like to come back and feel like stretched out and just relaxed. But I guess that's not really the place for it. The place is there to like entertain the kids.
Level set your expectations. Otherwise, you're going to come back feeling more stressed out than you did leaving. Just, you know.
Just go with the flow.
Fuck it. Just fuck it.
I just wish I had those drugs. The one we were talking about that the Americans get. So you just wake up and you're like, I don't even care.
Up your anxiety ones.
I guess, right?
I mean, that's what they do to you.
I swear to God,
it makes you out of touch.
I had a doctor once, and she was like, "Oh, you're going away with family? Just up your pills." And I was just like, "Ha!" And she's like, "I'm not supposed to say that." But I knew when she said I'm not supposed to say that she kind of meant it,
right?
Like, do it. Why the fuck not? It's not like it's not like it's gonna hurt you.
Yeah,
but I just would be like, I hope it wouldn't make me lazy, because you got to do shit there.
I think it would make you lazy and not care.
Yeah, right? So I'm just into a Netflix series in the other living room where nobody goes. Where's Natalie? She's just, you know what? She's a new woman.
It's like 12 o'clock and everyone's on the beach. Where's Natalie? I'm just watching Netflix over here.
Oh my God, right?
It would be a self-induced vacation.
And sometimes I say to myself, I'm just going to I'm not going to be the fun one. I say that to myself sometimes. And there I am being the fun
one. Look at you. The problems you have. There I am again. Being the one that's
there
okay.
I am.
Okay, Chloe, sit down.
I just mean like, I'm going to see if the fun happens if I don't fun it. If I don't fun it myself, right? And so then,
exactly.
But then there I am doing vision boards with the kids.
So hilarious. Wait.
I actually like playing with kids. That's the problem.
We have to take a quick break and come right back. God. So this is so funny because Olivia asked me, I watched the Netflix series on Ashley Madison, which was a Toronto company. And basically it was married people It is a website for married people to go
Extramarital affairs.
Thank you.
And just so you know, I worked in the building for a couple of years and they were one floor above, and I would see them get off and go, and I was like, I can't believe Ashley Madison's head office is in the head office where I work for a bank, and they're right upstairs.
So two confusing things about it. Number one is that there were so many AI bots talking to the men, but people did hook up. So it's a bit confusing how many actually hooked up and how many were just naughty talking.
I think that you could play around with the naughty talking a lot, and then the bots would never get to the point of meeting, but then they'd move on to someone who was ready to meet.
They stole the profiles.
Right.
And people showed up at her house and she's like, what the hell? And she wasn't actually, no, she's like, no, that was so long. Anyways, it was wild to watch. But Olivia said, what would you do if you caught my dad on there, or my husband, our dad, whatever, not my dad, her dad. And I said to her, I'm like, I'm just such a great catch. Mom's so great. I don't know what, I mean, there's not much more he could really she was like this, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, no, I just mean, I'm like, I'm great. I guess I'm like, I'd be like, okay, like, what'd you find? You know, like, not saying other people are not great, but I mean, I'm like,
well, I know what you mean. And it's like our daughters or our children might think, would that hurt your feelings? But it's like, you can't really hurt.
I might be upset. I might be like, wow, okay. But I'm so great. Why would, like, I'm not sure what would be more.
I would think like it's like in the, so many millions of men were signed up to this.
And by the way, a lot of, it became an investigation because people were killing themselves.
Well,
which was devastating because there was a lot of religious, like, high up people, and they had the people on there that had.
It was so sad.
I know. And she ends up going on there and telling a secret anyways.
And her home was beautiful.
I was really sad. It was very sad. And they still don't know who the hackers were. They still don't know.
That is so crazy.
And they think it might be actually Ashley Madison.
Just so until they thought it was him, until all of his private shit came out, and then they're like, it can't. Then they disregarded.
Oh yeah, because he also the head of Ashley Madison. No, it was an insane documentary just to watch.
Still married, right? I mean,
I think she left. I don't know. I mean, really? He did some. Because it was what they liked. So what was the big problem was it was what they were looking for. So I don't even know if it was the hooking up. It was more about what they actually were inquiring about, their preferences and what they were inquiring about. And the guy, the head of it was he was into teenagers. So that was really tricky. But so I was saying, you know, I'm like, she's like, wow, love yourself much? I'm like, yeah, I do. I'm like, I'm not gonna. He's not better than me, and I'm not better than him. But I'm a great cat. Like, I don't think I think he scored, but I think I scored too. It's not like I think I'm like, oh my God, I'm so much better than you. I'm like, I mean, what more would you want other than someone who's like a horn dog? But that would get old too. Like, a horn dog would get old.
And as far as Ashley Madison goes, I think like it was, people were on there for like, they were sexually curious a lot of the time. So they were the ones who wanted teenagers, and that was disaster. But like a lot of it was just about hooking up. These were people, everyone on there wanted to stay married
and wanted to feel good about themselves. So then I was like, I tried to explain to her, I'm like, I just think that if you think that someone is better than you, as you're saying, you know, I'm the fun one. It's not that you're better than them. It's just like, I'm like, the minute you think someone got away from you, or like that you lost a good one, it's kind of like, well, I'm great too.
It's kind of like in that series with that couple, and she was like, I did everything to be the best wife. I wanted to be the best wife to him. I wanted, like,
and you were,
and you were, but just like, yeah, she didn't need to think about being the best.
It's
wife.
not about you. It's so weird.
Yeah.
It's not. And I was, as I one of my kids, you can guess who, was brushing her hair like 2 days ago, and she's like, oh, it is so unbelievable how pretty I am. And I'm just like, you still think that? You still actually look at yourself in the mirror and think, oh, it's unreal. I'm this pretty. I'm like, it is. And we don't even like tell her that much. Like, it's not like we're like, oh my God, you're so pretty. Like, it's not like that conversation. She just looks at herself
and likes
like,
what she sees.
I am 10 out of 10 over here. And I am.
Which is the craziest part, is that like, you know, I'm thinking about, you know, all the kids, and that the idea that so many people look in the mirror and they don't like what they see.
I know.
And that they still have to go and carry on and get dressed and go to work and do all of that. And they're like, I don't like what I see.
I know.
And I'm thinking about I'm thinking about my kids looking at themselves in the mirror. You know, I'm just seeing what like, you know, could you?
I think some don't think about it. I think some aren't like. I don't think some are inclined to like be like, oh, I'm like that. I think some.
Do you think you can tell, like, if you had a teenage daughter and she looked in the mirror and didn't like what she sees? Did you think that if you see her looking in the mirror, you can see that?
I think you can see body language and like how they move through life. I do think that you can tell, like what. I do actually think you can tell when. I think it's an inside inner peace, because you can always chase something to change, and you can always. Someone is always going to look different and like quote unquote hotter than you, or whatever you want to call it these days. But I think that it is like, I don't think my little one even compares herself to other people. Like I don't think other people are actually a thought. Like I don't think she's like, they're so pretty. I just think she is like, I am so pretty. And the other thing is she had friends over on whatever day, one of these days this weekend. And I was listening to them and they were all trying new moves and they were like, you got it. They were so encouraging and, you know, so I'm excited for the other one when one landed the move. And I was like, wow, this is, I hope a new change and I'm hoping that between our older daughters and our younger daughters, there's another change. Like there's another shift, because I know a lot of, and maybe it's the age, but we do know a lot of teenagers who still are, you know, you can see their insecurities amongst friendships and how they act and the way they like kind of behave.
Yeah.
But I'm hopeful that she can hold on to not thinking about other people, whether she goes through phases of what she likes and doesn't like, fine. But I'm hoping that, I think she loves herself so much because she doesn't compare herself. And I think that that's where we begin to have problems, is when you begin to be like, oh, but I wish I was. Oh,
and that's what's so hard for teenagers on social media.
Yeah, it's true.
The comparison like that. But I was listening to like some, you know, those guys who stop people on the streets and they're like, what do you do for a living? Or like, he was stopping and he was like, you know, you're walking down the street with such confidence. Where do you think it comes from? And is there any like advice that you could give to anyone who's listening to find that like inner confidence that's clearly radiating out of you? And then one guy was like unapologetically just believing in myself, even though there was no proof that I could do any of it. And then, but in the end, what three of them all said is like making sure that you live your life like for what you like and what you want to do and being you. And it sounds so basic to think about it, but like it makes you think like, who am I? What is the thing that like people were always like, what are the things that people are drawn to about you? Is it your overwhelming like kindness, or is it that you're funny? It's like, what are those few things that are so you in your life that you were comfortable like letting it shine and trying to go back and make that happen? Because we've seen in our kids times where they were just, and of course they're gonna mature, but those moments that was so them, like Chloe saying that to go back to those times where it was so you, that's so Chloe, that's so Cat, that's so, you know, and don't be afraid to be that thing that's so you.
I know.
You know, and there's going to be people that aren't going to like that part of you, but you can't change it to make them happy. And it's like, if you're doing what makes you happy and who you naturally are, you'll just be confident because you'll be comfortable because you're not trying to change anything about yourself.
I know it's hard. It's a very hard concept to grasp. And I think that we think it's like egotistical. Like we're like, oh, don't like that. What's wrong with you? You're so egotistical. But I think that I really do think confidence stems from not giving a fuck about other people in terms of what they're doing, how they're living their lives. And, you know, she kind of taught me that lesson when I watched her. I'm like, oh my God, I, honest to God, don't think you think about anything else other than yourself, which is age appropriate too. But I like, and not in a selfish way, just sort of like, she probably walks down and is like, everyone is looking at me, like in a good way. Like, are they looking at me?
Well, this one time we were in the kitchen and I didn't even notice that Chloe had walked down, but she'd clearly changed her outfit and she came down and she just stood there. And I didn't notice at all. And Olivia looked over and goes, you look so cute. And I was like, that was really nice. She's like, No, she was going to stand there till someone turned and said it. Like Olivia's obviously her sister. She was so aware that she needed some recognition right there in that moment. And she was not going to be happy if she didn't get it. And Olivia was like, pat your back. You got it. There you go.
Oh my gosh. I know.
She was really shocked that like 30 seconds had gone by and
you hadn't said anything.
I hadn't noticed.
She was like, Natalie.
I know.
Look at me.
It's like a lot of little girls are like that. They walk down and they're just like
standing there. Excuse me.
Do
you notice me?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, it was an interesting like revelation. And I was like, wow, I bet most of us rock ourselves because we think that we aren't like someone else, which is so weird to think because why the hell would you? I'll never understand that concept. Like when he wants to go, if he was on that website, I'm like, I can't really understand why he'd want to. Like I really can't understand why we want. Like I really don't. I
would think a lot of the reason that anybody would go on is curiosity.
Right. I mean, a lot of people's brains, it's because you're not good enough, right? Like, it's like, oh, I don't fulfill something. You're not good enough. Like, I'm like, I was like, I kind of was like this.
That woman whose husband killed himself, she never blamed herself for it.
No, she didn't. She actually was just like, it's just so devastating that this is the, but different. He got let go from his job and it was a line of pastors, or I'm not sure what they're called, ministers from like his dad, his granddad, and all the same church. So I mean, very different expectations of letting people down, including your family, versus even, like it was.
But they had such a nice house.
I know, and she was lovely, and she was so smart, and
she seems at peace, kind of with it all. I mean, it's devastating, but I feel like she's been able to move on.
I like that in that 10-minute interview. Yeah. I like that
she seemed good.
She seemed like she probably didn't blame herself.
That's exactly it.
Which is like literally the conundrum of everybody. Like, I wonder if you have low self-esteem, if you actually, what is it from? Is it from you compare yourself? You have created a narrative. It's got to be comparison. That's the only thing I can think of.
I think one of them is comparison, but another big one is voices in their head that have told them something for so many years, whether it's like from a parent or a family member or social media. It's telling them you're not enough of this. You're not enough that. You're not smart. You're not pretty. You're not as pretty. Well, comparison would be not as pretty as your sister, but like you're not good enough. You're not good enough to do that thing. You're not good enough to get that mark. You're not good enough to make that team. You're not good enough.
Really?
A lot of people say that.
But who's telling them that? Just the world.
Oh, the world, but a lot of times it's parents.
Oh, actually. Have we taken our second break?
No, we can take it now.
My husband was at a hockey tournament this weekend.
Don't say something sad.
Well, if you're a fucking parent, please listen to me immediately, because he was in line at the coffee shop and he could hear the dad behind him. Basically, like, I don't even know why we came. Like, why are you playing? Like, what's wrong? Is there something wrong with you with how you're playing? Like, what? I didn't drive all this way for you to play like this. And when he told me this, I was just like, what is wrong with you as a parent who is wondering what is wrong with your child
when your child is obviously doing the best that they can
in that moment? And then there was another.
I think there's some people who actually think like, if you talk to them like that, then
it'll motivate them.
That'll motivate them so that when they get off the ice at the end of that day or off that whatever, they'll be like, and the parent will be like, there it is.
There's another one who was afraid to go into the lobby because the dad was waiting for him, and and I was just like, and he was like anxious about going.
Don't you wish you could just take those kids away from those parents?
I know sports is a massive, massive problem, and I think more of us do it than we mean to. And I think that...
And sports is one, and also academics. Majorly. Like the pressures of the parents being like, where do you think you're going to get a job if you keep coming home with these marks? I mean, Jennifer killed her parents over it.
It's a Toronto thing, and I think that that's where we begin.
It's a Netflix special.
It's a Netflix special,
but
from
it happened
Toronto.
Outside Toronto.
I think that if we're looking,
Jennifer did,
if we're looking at like self-esteem and confidence, I think that's when we begin to wreck it. Is because if they don't understand their implications of what they're doing and they're disappointing the only person, you have to remember this: your kids only care about what you think about them when they're younger. Like over 13, they begin to care what their peers think about them, and if if they feel judged by you, they're only going to go harder into their teen world, and hopefully they have a good teen support around them. But before, under the age of like 12, 11, they're looking at you. And if you are the word. And if you are disappointed in them, there's no one else in the world to tell them that they're doing a good job. Nobody. Maybe a coach, but a coach can often get mad at them. Teachers give them grades. You're the only person who they trust 1,000% because they want to look to you, and they just want to please you, which is so fucked up because all they want to do is make you happy. And then they're making you unhappy over a stupid game that means nothing in the long run. Means fucking nothing.
And that's can fuck with someone's confidence.
Yeah, those are the things that can, but it's the parents then.
Yeah, it can be the parents.
It's the grades. It's the thing. It's letting them know they're not good enough constantly, and they're not meeting the mark to be good. Mm-hmm. And that's a terrible place to be. And that's really mean. If you're a parent doing that, immediately stop. If you get in the car and you ask them why they played like that, don't do that. Why did you go to work and shit the bed that day? Same thing. Why'd you make that mistake? It was called a mistake, dummy. Why do we call them mistakes? You know what I mean? Like, otherwise, if you don't make a mistake, it's criminal. Like, if you go intentionally hurt someone, if you go intentionally get in, like, they're called accident and mistakes and like all of those things. No kid is going and taking the puck and fucking the dog on purpose.
You know, sometimes I wish that one of my things is I'd love to like go into other people's homes, like, and just see how they live. I really like to see like their traditions of like making meals, eating meals, communicating as a family, different cultures, all of that. But I don't think I could handle being in watching a home of where, and I know it happens so often, of hearing children being told that they're not like, I couldn't handle that. Those families, I don't want to come for dinner. I just want to go to the happy people.
Yeah. I think that it is really, the only time I'll get mad at a sport is their attitude. It's the only time I will get not effort, attitude. Like if you are being pissy, like being sulky, being any of that, like you clearly don't want to be here. So let's go. Like that is the only time I will talk about a game or the way they played is when I see the way they acted. That's when I'll smack it down. Mm-hmm. And if they ask me like, oh, you did better last time. Like my dancer asked me, like, you know what? Yeah, you know what? I'm like, it was great. I mean, the last one was definitely like better, but doesn't matter. I don't care. You know what's
so great is they get to the age where they know.
Oh, totally.
I'll be like, if I was, because I'm always like, you did great.
Wait, did I ever tell you what happened to Chloe?
No.
She was on the stage and right in the beginning, something messed, like something. I was like, that's so weird. I'm like, what happened? And she goes, I heard my costume rip when she was dancing. It went like this because I could see something happened. And I was like, what happened? And she's like, I heard a big rip. And I was like, oh my God, you probably didn't know where it ripped. You probably didn't know if it was right up your but you can't really stop and look because automatically you want to stop and look, but she didn't. So I was like, I can't believe you didn't stop and try to look where the hole was because automatically you're like, where is it?
And it happens all the time.
And she kept going because they put them in costumes that are too small for them. They measure them in February and they have to go in April, and these kids are growing so quickly. And I was like, oh my God, that's hilarious that you heard a big I was dying. I thought that was hilarious. I'm like, I can't believe you didn't stop and look for the rip. I would have been like, where's the rip?
That's what's so crazy about dancers is they just carry on.
That's crazy.
I know.
At 8 years old, I'm like, that is hilarious and so freaking funny.
I find that actually the craziest thing, and I've said this before, that like these little people go on stage and they just perform, and whether they fall or they miss moves or things get fucked up, I've never seen them stop.
No, they keep going.
I would run off.
Yeah.
Like they just don't stop.
They don't stop.
It's so.
Also, though, I always tell her, I'm like, no judge knows. They don't have your move.
I know. I say that
they don't have your move list.
Well, Taylor's figured that out now. Now she improvises.
I'm like, they know nothing. All they know is like it's not like 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like they're not counting.
Like standing in front of an audience like that, they like often it's like they haven't done it that much, and they're just all of them with confidence on their face.
Yes, they're queens.
No one looks shy. I guess you don't get into dance if you're going to be shy, because nobody looks shy.
No, and they're in no clothing. No. And then it rips and you're 8 years old and you just keep on going.
They fall.
Yeah, I know.
on
I
their
know.
heads.
I know. And they keep, but everyone
They
claps.
slip and fall.
Yeah, they clap for them. They're like, way to go. It's a very supportive environment. Anyways, I mean, if you're a parent at home and you're critiquing your kids' sports games, that's why they have coaches, not have you. And the other thing is, don't be a dickbag. Like be kind, be the place your kids can land softly, because if you set the expectation that they're not going to do, you have an expectation of them. Honest to God, if they're like 10 years old, they have no idea. They think they might have played really well, and you're like, no, you didn't. Are you on the ice? You don't know.
And also, if you're going on vacation, let us know if like you are able to relax with kids. And I know in general form that's a no, but has anyone mastered some way? Is there some drug? Is there?
I think when they're 50. I think when your youngest is 14.
Okay, I'm gonna give it a go.
I think you can do it. I just think you have to mentally let go. I think you have to mentally let go.
I totally know it's me. Oh, I know it's me. Oh, yeah.
Like you have to put boundaries in. Like, I'm not going.
Yeah, I'm just not going.
I'm going to stay here.
Just gonna stay here.
I'm not going.
Which I do sometimes, but then I get bored.
That's what I was going to say.
All right, guys. Well, let us know and keep it real. Okay.
Keep it real. I like that.